Hey guys, what's up? This is Casey,
And Coach Hom.
and this is Shot Science Overtime number 169.
Oh my goodness, I'm so blown away with that every time
There-
I hear those numbers.
There's your obligatory surprise on that one. But today we are doing a live show. J&J Gaming saying, what's up? What's up, man? So we are going to do our live show for today. It's a little bit later today. We're dealing with a storm outside, so it's we're worried about technical difficulties, but we'll give it our best shot. We are going to do our live show. What we do during our live show is we typically have a topic that we talk about at the top of the show. So it's something that we think is going to help you guys become a better basketball player, maybe give you some insight onto maybe beating a little bit of the learning curve that comes with trying to become a better basketball player. And while we're doing that, you guys are sending us questions. So anything basketball related, whether it's shooting, passing, dribbling, defense, how to talk to your coach, athletic training, athletic conditioning, whatever it is, send it our way, and we will do our best to answer those questions from all of our experience and coaching experience and things like that as well.
Boy, Casey, they're from all over the world already.
Hold on, we're not there yet.
I know. Wow.
So make sure you guys are sending us those questions. Make sure you guys are telling your friends and family to come check us out, because that really helps us grow the team, really helps us in making sure that we can still keep doing this and also provide you with all the other videos and content and stuff like that for you guys. It really helps us big time. Also, just make sure that you're sending us those questions, and we'll get to them in just a little bit. Let's talk about our topic for today, and then we'll get into some other business after that. Okay, our topic for today is how to get open shots.
Yeah, one of the things that I notice in watching young players play, and I'm talking about middle school and high school players, is that they oftentimes don't move, but they want the ball. And so often what happens is that kind of screws up the flow when they stand and wait for the basketball, because their defender is now helping on who has the basketball.
And here's the other scenario too, is that people will get the ball and then they'll complain about not getting open shots or taking a shot and it's always contested, or not being able to get it off fast enough and things like that.
Exactly. And so one of the things that comes up here is that we want to be moving. And there are several things that we want to do or have our players do. And one of those is the fact that we want to take and create openings, number one, to catch the basketball.
Yep.
And number two, to shoot the basketball. And so the thing that really is important for us to understand is how to do that. Oftentimes when we're playing and we're on the off side from the basketball, we know that we're going to receive the ball because the coaches have choreographed this play that they want us to run, and we know that the ball is going to swing back around to our side of the floor. And so what we can do in order to create a lead for ourselves to catch the basketball is use one of several what we call
They're tactics for moving without the basketball.
Exactly. And what we want to do there is this. One of them is a V cut. And different people use a little different on this, but what we like to do is, if when you're on the offside, is to, while the ball is away, you are moving toward the block at the lane, and you're taking your defender with you.
Yeah, and it's called creating a lead.
Creating a lead, exactly. And so we run that person down, or walk them down even for that matter. And then when we get down there, we step across their body with the outside foot, so that we've got our back to them and we've got them screened behind us.
It's a seal. You're trying to seal that guy down in that position.
Exactly. And then we flash back out to the point where we want to catch the basketball. And it's really difficult for them when you pin them behind you like that to flash out and catch the ball and then turn and address the basket.
Yeah, because when you make that lead and you're walking them down there, you're setting them up.
Yeah.
And when you get them down to where you want them, then you do that cross step over the top of them, you seal them, and then they're one step behind you at that point.
Yeah.
And then you bust out, and they have to do another situation where they're trying to catch up with you, so they're one or two steps behind you at that point. So when you catch the ball in the perimeter, you've already kind of got the ball situated, ready to go, and they're trying to recover. And that's going to put them in a really tough position, because they have to figure out how to stop you.
Right. And so what you're really doing there is getting a lead where you can catch the pass and not have it being interrupted by the defender.
Right.
And one of the things that we teach also to everybody that comes to us is that we want to take and turn and address the basket on the catch. and we actually start to do that before we get to the spot where we're going to receive the basketball.
So that means this is that when you pop out, you go down, you make that V cut, you seal them, you come back out, you catch the ball. But when you are catching the ball, you aren't just catching it at a standstill or not facing the basket. Exactly. When you catch it, you are making a conscious kind of turn or loop towards the pass so that you are catching it as you're kind of getting into your shooting position.
Right.
A lot of people want to call that kind of like a triple threat approach, but that's not really what we like to call it. We like to call it catch and address because you want to be able to shoot it or just go even without stopping.
Right.
If you catch it and you're on the fly, you can continue on with it. You don't need to stop and triple threat set. You can catch it and go.
Exactly. And one of the things that happens is when people are learning how to do this, sometimes they'll come out and they'll make that turn, and it's a real slow, sluggish turn, and the defender can cut right across your face, take the ball, and they're gone. And so what you want to do is get them on your back, come out and make that turn. When you make that turn, you want to catch the ball as you're making the turn. Don't go out there and then turn around like a robot and then wait for the pass. It's all one fluid motion. And like you couldn't really see exactly what Casey was doing there, but as you flash out, you want to get out to that position that's often referred to as extended free throw line, where it crosses the three-point line. That's essentially where wing players play, and so you want to make that hook so that when you turn, you're facing the basket and the other person is not going to be able to cut across your face.
Yeah, and if you guys want to see that demonstrated, you can go to our YouTube video called Moving Without the Ball, and I think it's actually called the V cut.
Right.
And so go check that out. Another one to check out is the L cut, and it's very similar.
It's similar, yeah.
You're walking them down, you're creating that lead, you're stepping over their body when you get down to about the block area, but then instead of busting back out to the perimeter, you bust up the free throw line.
Right. You walk them up or just kind of stride them up. We don't want to be in too big a hurry because you're trying to time yourself so that pass is going to be coming to you on time.
Yeah.
Okay, but when we get up to the free throw line, what we want to do is we want to give them just a little bit of, you can't really see this, but I'm kind of nudging Casey a little bit like this.
And that's just a little bump off, and it's not a shove or a shiver or anything like that.
Right. It just takes and gives you a moment to create the space so you can separate from them. And as long as the arm doesn't come away from your body like that, then you're probably going to be okay. But what it does is it stops that person, and you create some immediate space so you can get out to where you want to catch the basketball.
And the other thing too is that when you are an offensive player, one of your main objectives is to get the defensive player off balance. Because when they're off balance, they're out of the game.
Sure.
So that little bump does a lot to kind of get them off balance, and they have to recover. And when you have the defense in recovery mode, you are in control.
Yeah. And one thing to keep in mind is what if you get called for that? Okay. I can't get away with that, I guess, this game.
Got to be more subtle, too.
Yeah, you just have to be more subtle. And usually we get called for it when the arm comes away from our body like that and then gets a piece of them.
Yeah, it's literally just like a little thing like this.
It's just to kind of stop me for a moment so that for the player to then extend and separate from me.
It should just be almost look incidental. And, people will say, oh, well, that's a foul and you shouldn't do that or whatever. This is basketball. There's always going to be that gray area where you are using physicality to your advantage.
Exactly.
And, you may get called for that. That's the risk you take. Yeah. But, if you're able to get away with it, that's great. And there's so many instances of doing that kind of stuff. One of the ones we talk about all the time is using the hammer or, even just when you're rebounding or battling for position, all of that stuff. You could be called for a foul on pretty much all of that stuff if you're not doing it, consciously. Yeah. And so, you do take risk in those situations.
Yeah, but the point is that this basketball game is played with the rules, and the rules get bent a little here, they get ignored there, and you need to find where you can play. And it might be a different program every time you play. And so you'll watch the players that play basketball, particularly in the college level, maybe the pro level as well too, is they're testing all the time to see what they can get away with.
Yeah.
They're holding somebody, consciously holding them, and okay, I'm not getting called, so I guess I'm going to be able to get away with that. And so then it becomes a real struggle with the other players. So
okay, so
don't be afraid to do that.
Before we do the next moving without the ball thing, what we want to talk about quickly too is this. is that basketball is not a game where you are owed anything, especially the basketball.
Yeah.
You have to make your case for getting the ball.
Exactly.
And, one of the ways that you get open for these shots is moving. And you have to learn these different tactics for moving.
Sure.
The L cut, the V cut, those are super important ways to do that. If you're just standing there and you're calling for the ball, or you expect the ball, or you think you're owed the ball, I mean, get out. You don't deserve it. And you will find that you will only occasionally get the ball, and when you do, the defense doesn't have to do anything to set up, and so you're basically trying to attack them from kind of that point of no advantage.
Yeah.
And that's tough. If you're able to attack them with an advantage before they are even able to set up, you are going to be so much better off.
Yeah, oftentimes when you take and use that V cut and you come out and you make that turn, they're lagging just a little bit, and you can turn that corner and attack the basket on them.
Yeah, and it's so much easier. You don't have to do all the work of trying to break them down or do any kind of dribble attack where you are actually opening yourself up to turnovers if you are trying to do too much with the basketball.
Yeah.
So try to do more before you even get the basketball.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, hang on. One of the things I want to go back and make sure that we are kind of clear on is that we can't wait until the point guard or some other player is ready to give us the basketball, and then we decide we're going to create this lead.
Yeah.
Because they'll have to stand there and wait for you for 8-9 seconds while you walk them down, break them out, and so what you need to do is think ahead of the time. I'm over here on the left wing. I know they're going to reverse the ball to me because that's the play design. And so as it goes away from me, I start down to that to the block with my player, so that when I take and flash back out, the ball, just in the natural flow of the game, is coming to me. Okay, and so the timing is really important for you to understand on both the V and the L cuts.
And you should always be thinking about, what can I be doing right now? It shouldn't just be, okay, this is where I'm supposed to be. That's not what you should be doing. You should be thinking, okay, can I make an L cut? Can I make a V cut? Maybe I should backdoor cut. Can I set a screen? Can I set an off-ball screen? Can I flash the middle? There's so many things that you can do. Right. And you should always be trying to figure out something to do. You should never be standing still. There might be cases where you're running plays for your coach and it's a very set, obvious thing you need to do. That's a different kind of scenario. But if it's like you are in play mode or you see an opportunity, you need to do that stuff.
Yeah. And one of the things that we refer to as the coach's choreography of a play tells each one of the players what to do and when, and we're trying to get a particular shot for somebody on the team, and we call that just running on rails. And not disparagingly, but that's kind of what we call it, we refer to. And one of the things that's so important is that oftentimes when you're running these choreographed routes, or whatever it is that they call them, you'll find that players will they'll dial in what you're doing. And they'll listen for play calls. Okay, here's that one again, and I remember what he does here, and so he's going to go here, and that guy's going to go there, and so it's all choreographed, and you know, and the defensive person pretty much has it figured out by then too.
And here's where that kind of falls into play too, is that they'll start to figure out what's going on, and you can use something like the backdoor cut, and you can basically just leave them, in your dust. And it is ridiculous how open shots you can get with something like the backdoor, because they're anticipating that you're going to do one thing and you do the other thing, and they have no backup plan.
Exactly. We kind of refer to that as running on rails. In other words, everybody's got station that they're going to go to and make the stop or set screen or whatever. And we really sincerely believe that good basketball players know sometimes that it's best to jump off the rails, and instead of going to the station, I'm going to make that back cut that Casey's talking about. And all of a sudden, we've got a quick free basket there just because I jumped off the rails.
Oh. Okay, so we're not going to go into crazy detail with all this other stuff, but the next thing to worry about is the backdoor cut.
Yep.
We are not going to give you the full explanation of that. Go to our video on moving without the ball, the backdoor cut, and you'll see exactly how we demonstrate that. It is ridiculous how open the shots will be once you start utilizing it at the right time. So go check that out on our channel. Some of the other things that you can do to get open shots are when you have the basketball, are using dribble attacks,
Right.
using things like some of the offensive tools that we talk about, like the hammer, the diamond, fill in the blank. There's so many of them. If you check out our offensive moves playlist, they're all in there. Some of the things you can do without the ball, again, are setting screens, whether that's off ball or on ball screens.
Right.
A lot of times setting screens will leave you with you getting the opportunity.
Right.
Sometimes you think, oh, well, I'm facilitating the guy with the ball so that he can get an open look. Most of the time, if you're setting the screen and you're using the right roll technique and all that stuff, you are sealing the defense behind you, and you're going to roll to the basket, and you're going to be the one with the wide open shot. So really look at things like that, flashing in the middle, flashing, basically anywhere where there's gaps in the defense.
Right.
And we have videos on that stuff too.
Yeah, Casey was talking about these different kinds of screens. There are a whole bunch of different kinds of screens and screen situations. Down screens, where players who are elevated on the court, they'll go down and they'll screen for somebody at the post and they'll flash out. There are situations where the post players, maybe they're both at the block and one will screen for the other while they come across.
Slip screens,
Yeah, and so all of those things really are helpful if you have that freedom in your offense. Sometimes coaches don't give you that much freedom, so those will help you.
So there's so many things that you can do to get open shots, and those are the ones that we think are a big deal. The big take-home message is this, is that you need to be moving no matter what.
Yeah.
If you're just standing there, you aren't doing any work to deserve an open shot or deserve the ball.
Yeah.
Okay.
And, one of the things that is a personal tick-off for me is that if I see that some of my players will throw a pass and then they're clapping their hands because they want the ball back, we have a quick break, and they hear in no uncertain terms that you're not ever going to get the ball back if you do that.
Yeah.
I'm going to make sure you don't get the ball there because we're not going to be able to do anything with it because you're stopping the offense from operating. You've got your defensive man who is not worried about you anymore because you're just up there calling for the ball, and he can help on that person who's got the basketball. Whereas if you were to take and make a hard cut through the offense to the opposite corner, you'd drag him out of there.
Okay. So that is really the truth. You got to move without the ball.
Got to move.
Got to make a case for you to have it in your hands.
Exactly.
Okay, so we're going to shut down that topic for right now. We're going to move into answering some of your guys' questions. Of course, before we get into that, we always have to ask our one question of the day, which is always this.
Where are you located in the world?
Yeah, where are you guys from?
And we had some people came on a while ago right away, and they're telling us where they're from. How cool is that?
Yeah, because we want to know where everybody from Team Shot Science is from. We are here in Santa Cruz, California right now. We want to know, are you from Japan? Are you from Germany? Are you from Lithuania? South Africa? We want to know. So,
and if perchance somebody is from China, get through to us so we know that.
I don't think so, but
no, I know.
But it really helps us to know where you guys are from because it makes it exciting for us to know that we're reaching all you guys. It also it's great if you guys go out there and you tell your friends and family to check out Shot Science because that really helps us grow and do more cool things for you guys. In that vein, we want to make sure that you guys also go and check out shotscience.com because we have been putting a lot of work into building that out for you guys. We have all of our shirts and stuff. You can get the Naismith is my homeboy shirt there. You can get the official Shot Science shirt there. We also have all of our jump box stuff, the vertical jump training gear. So if you want to get the jump box, go there and get that. It has all the gear and kit that you need to really help work on your vertical and your athleticism and everything. And also, we have a really special area of our website called All Access, where it is a membership that you go into and you are able to look at all of our very extensive content on shooting and on basketball development, but also athletic development, like working on your vertical and athleticism. And every month we're adding more content to that. So right now you can go in there and there's a whole thing on shooting. If you want to learn how to shoot, it has all of our stuff broken down. It has graphics, demonstrations, all the information that you need to become a better shooter. And then also you can go and check out some training for the vertical jump stuff, using some of the gear that we have in our jump box and all that. But if you guys go and join that would be awesome. And if you want to get a free month of it, we are giving you guys a free month. So if you go to shotscience.com, you put in that you want to start your membership with the All Access. At checkout, all you have to do is go to the promo code and enter 1 free month exclamation point with everything in all caps. So 1 free month exclamation point, all caps, all one word, and you can get that first month for free. So please go check that out. We would love to have you guys there and see what we're doing there. We are going to put out a new section on that here just in probably a week or two on ball handling. So make sure you're there. And we haven't told anybody that yet. So you guys are the first people that we've told that. And we would love to have you there. Okay? And go tell your friends and family to join too, because that really helps us out. Okay, let's talk to some of these people. Damien is from the Bay Area. So are we. We're from Santa Cruz. Ralph is from the Philippines. Jordan is from H-Town. Which H-Town? Zeno is from Amsterdam. Boy Toy Swag is from Illinois. Ralph is from Idaho. Darnie Shioneta is from Illinois. Dan is from Pennsylvania. So is Harrison. Chris Morrison is from Brampton, Ontario. Jordan is from Houston. That's H-Town. Jack Gibson is from Boston. Gates Productions is from Illinois. I think there was somebody up here from Germany too.
There was, yeah.
Raz EX PvP is from Germany. Bob is from Michigan. Awesome. So guys, keep sending us where you guys are from. We would love to see that. Yeah. Let's see here. Dennis Alex is asking, how do you make the basketball team?
You know, if you go to our videos, we have a couple of videos that are on how to make the team. And these videos really focus on the elements that coaches are looking for. One of the things that I think is really important in these elements is that you show effort in your work. But go look at the video because it lays it out pretty clearly for you. And then we have a second video that is a discussion with Casey Hill of the Santa Cruz Warriors.
The D-League team of the Golden State Warriors.
Right, and he kind of lays out what he's looking for in taking his players from tryouts as well. And so go check those out. That'll probably help you a ton.
Yeah, and here's the thing, too, is that so many people want the answer to that question, but it is a little more complex. The stuff that we're talking about, those are things that you can do in the short term, but also things that coaches are looking for that are kind of like the extra awesome stuff that they really want to see in their players.
Exactly.
The other thing is that you have to have the skills and you have to have kind of the experience using those skills. So you have to really work on developing your abilities to play basketball.
Yeah. You know, it's funny too. Some people will get back to us and they will say something like this. We just had our tryouts and I didn't make it.
Yeah.
And there were players that they selected that I know I'm better than. Well, you know, that probably is not necessarily the case. And so one of the things that we refer people to is this. Go to the coach and ask them what you could have done differently or better to make the team. And coaches they're not unreasonable people. They'll say, okay, here's what I saw. You were deficient in these areas. You're not bad here as a shooter, but your defense wasn't very good. And so they will kind of lay out for you what it is that you didn't do so well in. And don't be afraid to talk to them.
But you should also never go in with any kind of expectation or entitlement, because if you go in there saying, man, I know I should have made the team, what can I do next? I mean, they're going to be like, get out of here. But if you're like, coach, I'm bummed I didn't make the team, but is there something that I can do to work on to become a better player and maybe next time come back and make the team? Or is there things that you see in my game that maybe I could really, really work on and it will help?
Absolutely.
That's a good way to approach it. The other thing is this too. A lot of people, and this is not, for me, this is like, I don't understand this, and you probably don't either, but people think that if you just show up at tryouts and you do what you're going to do for tryouts and then walk away, and that's the only contact that you have with the coach or the team or whatever, and you think that that's a good way to get put on the team, that is the worst approach.
Exactly.
You should be there at open gyms. You should be participating in any of the basketball classes that they have. You should talk to the coach beforehand.
Casey, that's really an important point there, is that if they don't know who you are, because you've never had any personal contact with them, they're not probably going to say very much to you or about you or select you to the team, unless you're just incredibly good. Okay.
And here's the thing: is that, and this is I know this is true of most places, is that most of the time when coaches are picking their teams or having tryouts, they already know who's going to be on their team before the tryouts. The tryouts are almost a farce.
Well,
You know, occasionally you will pick up a guy, but usually it's the guys at the very end of the bench that you're trying to fill out the team or whatever, but they know who they're going to have on the team.
Yeah, that's
and
true.
so if you have no contact with the coach, you've never been there before or whatever, I mean, you better have like an exceptional day, because, you know, you when you go out there and play, you don't always play up to your abilities every single time. And so do you want that one day that you go in and that's the one that decides whether you're on the team to be the day that you have the crappy day? I don't think so. So if you're working during the year, you're going to the open gyms, you're talking to the coach, maybe there's some summer league stuff or whatever, participate in that stuff. Don't just have the first time the coach sees you be at tryouts.
Exactly.
It's a big mistake.
And get on a personal relationship with that coach. That helps a whole bunch.
Chris Morrison says, I love you guys. Thanks, Chris.
I love you too, Chris.
Awesome. Let's see here. Jordan is saying, how can I get in the zone when I play?
You know,
that's one of those questions that's really hard to answer.
It really is. I don't, you know.
You need to work on, number one, your skills. You need to make sure that your skills are just second nature. You have all the muscle memory stuff built in. And when you get out there, just be focused and relaxed.
You know, it's not something where you can flip a switch and suddenly you're in that zone. I mean, that's not the way it is. And I don't know of any way that you can actually get into that except just playing and being with the flow of the game. And oftentimes what you'll find is that you shoot a shot and that felt really good, and you shoot the next one, that one felt really good. And so, I don't know what causes it, or, you know, I see this all the time when we watch a lot of pro basketball games during this time of the year, and they'll talk about him being in the zone. And what that person in the zone is really getting done is that they're shooting the ball really well. They're getting to the basket. Normally they're not able to execute that quite as well.
Well, you know, it's like having confidence in your execution.
Yeah.
So, you know, once you start hitting a few shots, you're like, well, I'm going to be money on all these. So then that having the confidence really makes it so that you are not scrutinizing every move that you're doing. And so you're really just in the flow of just executing. Yeah. And so you have to have your skills there, and then you have to have kind of you have to remove kind of that critical analysis that you're always running on yourself, because if you're trying to make adjustments on the fly, that's when you really start hurting your ability to be efficient and execute.
Right.
Okay, this one is from Chris Morrison, who says, how do I get scouted? You know, we talk about this every once in a while. This is the short answer. Okay. The answer to that is that you have to be out there and playing. You should also be proactive yourself. So many people think that it's like, if I play a certain way, then coaches are going to come out and watch me, and that may be the case, but that's usually for the super elite players that coaches are scouting them and actively looking for them. Yeah. There are, you know, kind of the traveling team circuit stuff, like there are showcases and things like that. Mm-hmm. It's debatable how good that can really work for you. One of the things you should really do is be proactive yourself. And this is one of the things we talk about, is make your own highlight reel. Put together your best plays. Then on that same tape, put in your best half of basketball. Right. So it's the half where you scored the 20 points and everything was flowing for you, and you were playing defense and you were doing everything that a basketball player needs to do. Tag that on there. And then if you want, you can add some testimonials from maybe like your coaches or teammates or whatever that talk about you in a positive light. Right. And put that all into a tape. Get a list together of the schools and the coaches that you're interested in, and start sending that out to them. Maybe find assistant coaches or team manager type people, and send stuff to them, and do a lot of legwork. You might have to send out 100 of those messages to get one person to watch it. But that's really how you get it done, is you doing the work. Yeah,
that's how it's best done. Going to the different traveling team showcases and things like that. There are an awful lot of coaches, college coaches at different level of college basketball, that go to those, and they are looking for players. But what most people don't realize, they already know who they're going to look at before they even go, because there's been this communication. Well, Coach, I have this guy that plays on my travel team, and he's 6'8", he's really athletic, he can shoot the ball, and blah, 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 blah. And so he kind of whets the interest of the college coach, and so they get out and watch him play. And there are certain times of the basketball spring and summer season where coaches from the college teams can go and watch players play, and other times they're shut out. They cannot be there. It's against the NCAA rules for them to be there. But the thing that is real important, like Casey said, by being proactive and putting together some kind of a tape that you think is important about how you play the game, and then getting that out to places where you think you like to play. But here's the thing that is probably the most difficult issue, in my opinion, is this. Often players think they are capable of playing on one level when that's not a reality.
Yep.
They don't know that, but they want to go play D1 basketball, but the level of skill and their physical build and capabilities and whatnot might not allow them to play on that level, and so maybe they're better fitted for Division II, Division III, NAIA, et cetera, et cetera. And so you have to, and one of the things I think is really important for you to do is take and get with somebody that you respect, that knows how you play, and ask them, where do you think I could play? And they will tell you, well, listen,
that knows basketball.
Well,
too.
that knows basketball and can, and they've seen you play, and these are typically probably your local high school coaches or junior college coaches or something like that. But go to them and say, okay, I'd really like to play basketball on the next level. Where do you think I would fit? Somebody was telling me the other day, well, they know this person who has a son, and they think that he'd probably be a really good fit for Division III. He's 6'4", he can't shoot, he's not very fast, and so that was unfair probably because it would be a stretch for him to play at Division III. And some people say, well, Division III is a much lower level. Hey, if you ever go watch Division III basketball, and particularly the upper level teams, you're going to find teams who very often probably beat, in fact they do.
They play D1 teams all the time.
And they beat them, okay?
Occasionally they do, yeah.
Yeah, and so the thing, and surprising how well they can compete sometimes. The biggest difference is usually those D3 people shoot the ball really well.
Yeah.
Okay, but they're not 6'10", 6'11", 7 feet. They're more in that mid-range. They're posts or players that play inside. Maybe they're in that 6'7", 6'8" range, maybe a 6'9" once in a while, but the level of basketball is really high. So go visit with somebody who knows you, how you play, and has a pretty good grasp on basketball and at different levels, and they can probably help you. And the one thing that everybody in the world wants to play Division I basketball. Not everyone in the world can play Division I basketball.
And even the ones that can play there, they don't always get to play there.
Well, that's true, and they get there and they get washed out because they weren't as good as maybe the coaches thought they were, or they thought they were.
Or they don't have the fortitude to play there.
Yeah, it's tough.
Here's the thing: is that do the legwork. Yeah. Make sure that you're the one that's doing it. Don't pay people to do it. Don't do services and stuff like that. That seems like the biggest waste of money you could possibly do. You can do it. You have a phone that has editing software on there. You can make your own videos. Yeah. So do that and make a really nice email and send it to the coaches. Have some kind of personal touch to it or whatever. Like, hey coach, I love your school and I really love your team. Is there any way that you could possibly maybe check out my highlight tape and have the link or whatever for that right there? And send that out to lots of coaches, assistant coaches. You might want to send it to the places that you really want to play or go to, and then send it to some places that are kind of like a little bit lower down your list, maybe at different levels as well. And that is really a good approach. And you may find somebody that likes you, but you might do all that work and might find nobody. And that just happens. But you've got to do the work and have realistic expectations.
Yeah, and if you get to a point where you're not really getting any interest, maybe that tells you that maybe I should take and go and spend maybe a year or two playing junior college basketball.
Yep.
Because junior college basketball has become quite a reservoir of players for upper levels of basketball, because guys don't qualify to play in Division I or Division II because they haven't done well in the classroom. And so they go to junior colleges where they can kind of improve that. and they come out later and into playing D1 basketball anyway.
Okay, so we got to cut that off a little bit.
All right.
We have a ton of information on that if you go watch some of our older live shows. We even talked with some college coaches and stuff like that. So go check those out. Terrence Harvey is asking, how do I become more explosive? That is one of those things that is best handled by checking out all of our vertical jump videos, going to shotscience.com and signing up for the All Access membership. We have a whole section on athletic training and conditioning there that we're adding to all the time. The jump box. I mean, we have all of that gear that is really for that stuff. So that's where we would tell you to go, is check out all of our vertical jump stuff, shotscience.com.
Well, the essence of that too is the vertical jump materials or tools that we have there. They are really centered around the idea of helping your vertical, but they also are really good for developing your speed and quickness and athleticism.
Just overall athleticism and all of that.
Yeah.
Ray Earth 07BG says, hello from the Philippines. I want to have knowledge on how to get open shots in perfect shooting form. Okay, you came to the right spot.
You did.
You know, we have all of those videos on our channel. So if you go check out youtube.com/shotscience, which is basically, I mean, you're here already probably. So go check that out and find those particular topics. You can also go to shotscience.com because we have, the perfect shooting stuff. That is right there. That is the number one section that we have in the All Access membership. Let's see here. Let's go down to some of the newer questions here. Let's see. Dan Dabrowski's asking, do you guys sell the hats that Coach Tom is wearing in the shop? We don't. We just made those up. But if that's something that you really want, we could.
Yeah, we could.
So let us know if you want. If you guys want hats, and we have enough people that are asking about it, we will definitely make some hats.
Yeah, we will.
Let's see here. Zeno's saying Shot Science has a lot of videos that answer most of these questions. We do, but we like to talk to you guys about it too.
We do.
Okay, let's see. Gates Productions is saying, if you want to be a professional player, is the education aspect of of college bigger than the greatness of the team and joining a college? Well, here's the thing. You should really never take advantage or not understand the advantage of getting that college education.
Absolutely.
So basketball should be the means for you to get that. If something comes out of basketball after that, then you are in rare kind of company.
Right.
Because making it as a professional basketball player is very difficult. And even if you do, it is not a career that necessarily will take care of you forever either.
Exactly right. Yeah.
There are people that it will take care of forever because they'll make millions and millions of dollars, but there are professional basketball players that make a few $100,000 a year or in a career, and then that's it. So what do you do after that?
Yeah.
That college education, that's a big deal. Yeah. And you should really focus on what are things that are going to set you up for the rest of your life. That is one of those things that will be one of those things. Right. Basketball, if you get more out of basketball after that, that's awesome. Yeah. Right?
I agree with that totally.
Zakaria is asking, what finger should come off last? And I think they're talking about shooting.
Right. Well, typically when we're teaching people how to shoot, we want the ball to come off the last two fingers. And obviously some people's index finger is a little shorter than the second finger. And so, but we want to come off of those two last. And some people's third finger is longer, and you'll find that sometimes the three of them will come off together. Typically, though, it's 1 and 2. The thing that really screws up your shot is if it comes off of 3, 4, and 5. That's when you're not going to get a very good shot. So,
yeah, because look at this. If it comes off those, you can see the rotation that you get out of that.
Well, and here's another part of it's really important too, is that when you're releasing the basketball, you want the hand to go directly at the basket. So often people will do what is called pronation. The wrist will break out to the right or to the outside. Some people will supinate and the hand will go to the inside. What we teach, and we think this is the best thing because of where you want to put the basketball, this is called flexion. And we want to have that wrist come through flexion, and it's going right straight toward the target.
And it should be very relaxed.
Yes.
And here's the other thing, too. I'll get back to the wrist thing. But if it comes off just this finger, look at how I have no control over that.
Yeah.
If I add in that second point of contact, I have way more control. So a lot of people are saying, oh, you should shoot with that one finger coming off and pointing. If that ball moves even a millimeter, that's going to be exaggerated greatly by the time it gets to the basket, and you'll be off. Yeah. So you want to have that control. It's just like throwing a baseball or throwing a football. These last two fingers are a big deal, and they provide a lot of support and stability, and you will have a lot less kind of wiggle room for it to go wrong.
Yeah, one of the things that really is important too when you're shooting that basketball is not only making sure that it comes off the first two finger, but getting the other hand off the basketball before you release it. Oftentimes what people will do is the shot will come through like this, and this thumb will swipe the basketball as it goes away, and it causes the ball to go this way and to this way. So we always have our players start off with just one-handed shooting for a period of time, and then we'll bring the other hand in with the idea that the hand is going to fall away one way or the other right before the release.
And here's the other thing too, is that Zakaria was asking about, or saying something about flicking the wrist and all that. Mm-hmm. We do not support that terminology of flicking
or snapping
because that implies that you are doing something that is really kind of very kind of tension oriented. Mm-hmm. So when you are flicking, you can feel the tension in your forearm, and you can feel that it's just bound up, and you are imparting that energy onto the ball. And if you're snapping, same thing. It's like it should not look like that. And when you shoot, we think it should be a flop. So it's just like
relax
that.
The fingers.
Very relaxed. All of this is relaxed. I don't have any tension in there. And when I do that, it's going to impart that energy into the ball.
And it's going to. Here's the thing that's really important about it. When we snap the wrist, or flick it, if you want to call it that, that imparts more rotation on the basketball. And what that does is that creates a whole lot of captured energy. Captured energy means that can't go anyplace because it's in this rotation of the ball. And the faster it spins, the more energy there is. When it runs into the rim, let's say, or a backboard, either one, what happens is it exerts that energy, and usually that results in a long rebound. Whereas if you have a nice soft wrist when you relax the basketball, we don't shoot the ball softer. All we do is just relax the wrist and fingers, and what happens is the ball spins slower. And so when it spins slower, and if you were shooting a free throw, a good example of this would be the ball should make maybe 2 complete revolutions when you shoot a free throw. It's 15 feet from the basket, and it turns slow. And the reason that is that if we have a nice arc holding hands with that kind of release, what happens is the ball stays around the basket, short bounces, and we still have a chance for that thing to go in.
Yeah, so you want to impart a gentle amount of energy into the ball.
Yeah.
As soon as it hits the backboard or the rim and it's got a bunch of energy in it, it will expend it and pop right out. Yeah. Okay. Lightning round.
All right.
We're gonna try
you always lay that on.
We're going to try to answer more questions here, so we're going to shorten them up a little bit. But Zamare is asking, what basketball drills can I do inside with strength shooting and ball handling drills without frustrating my mom?
You should probably move out. That's what you should probably do.
The thing is that you should probably talk to your mom and find what is okay. If you guys have a garage, that would be a good place to kind of go out there and pound some things out. Right. Maybe finding a local YMCA or another gym or something like that. That would be good. It all comes down to this. You got to make it happen and figure it out.
Yeah.
That's one of those big things that we always talk about. We can't solve every issue for you when it comes down to something like that. You have to be resourceful, right?
Exactly.
So figure out some way to make it work, and you can talk to your mom. I'm sure she would like to be part of that discussion.
Right.
Let's see. Brian Kelly says, I've played 2 guard for as long as I've been playing, but my team has playoffs coming up, and our point guard is out, so coach said I'll be playing point. Any tips?
Take care of the basketball.
Yep.
Don't try to be more than you can be. Sometimes when people are 2 guards or 3s, either one, the label that goes along with those positions on the floor usually is shooting guard. Well, you know what? You don't necessarily have to be a shooting guard to play the 2 guard. Likewise, you don't need to be a shooting guard to play the point guard. Point guards need to take care of the basketball, direct the team into the offense, and help them run it. Once in a while, maybe you attack the basket, or if you got an open look, you want to be able to take it. Just don't try to do more than you're capable of doing in that fill-in position, but take care of the basketball.
Looks like we have.
And once more time, take care of the basketball.
Looks like we have people saying they want some hats.
All right.
We'll have to see about that.
All right.
So Christian Cruz says, I see a lot of NBA players shoot the ball and see that it looks like the palm is touching. Is it the palm shooting, or is the ball looking like it's touching the palm?
You know,
That's one of those things where
yeah.
people get down into these nitpicky things where they are looking at photographs or whatever. You know, we can't say exactly what every player is doing, and they may do something different than what we say or teach, and that's fine.
Yep.
But we have come up with our foundational elements that really are tried and true and proven, and they work. And those are the ones that we're going to teach you guys. You know, if you see a player that is doing something differently, they probably spent hours upon hours upon hours upon years upon hours making that work for them.
That's right.
That doesn't mean that it will work for you. These are the things that we talk about are the things that we know will work for everybody.
Yeah.
So it doesn't do you any good to say, oh, well, Steph Curry does this, you know, and Klay Thompson does this. I'm doing that. That's not a good way to look at it. You should look at it as, what are the foundational elements that I can build into my game that will make me a better player from the start? You can't emulate other people. It's not a good approach.
Yeah, very true. Very true.
In anything that you do.
Yeah.
Let's see here.
Let me just take, and I know we're in that, sprint session, but one of the things that we teach wanting to get the ball off the palm of the hand is that there's not much in the way of sensory nerves here in the palm of the hand. But even more importantly than that, you are able to grip the basketball with your thumb and little finger.
Look, if I had the ball on my palm like that, I have no control over it. And I have big hands. Like, I don't have a problem controlling the ball. But if I have it on my palm, I have no control. Now, if I spread my thumb and little finger out,
you've got gripping points on the basketball.
Yep.
So that allows you better control of the basketball at the release point. Okay?
Yeah. I mean, it just makes sense.
Yep.
Dunk Kid Gaming saying, is it true that you look at the basket first before shooting? Yeah, you should be looking at the basket as you're shooting and as the ball gets there.
Yeah. You know, we were talking to somebody today about this, and I said, you're watching the ball in flight, right? Well, yeah, I am. I said, well, why? Well, they didn't have an answer for me, but when we teach people, we want them to focus on the target. And I said, well, if you were playing darts and there was a dartboard over against the wall and you're throwing darts, would you be watching that dart while it's on its way? Or would you be focusing on that spot where you want to put it? And so that's kind of how we look at it. You want to focus on the spot where you're trying to put the basketball. And by the way, that is the middle of the basket. It is not the back rim. It is not the front rim. We are trying to put that thing right in the middle of that hole every time we shoot it.
Okay. I think that's going to do it for us today, you guys.
Okay.
But if you guys have more questions, please let us know, and we will answer as many as we possibly can somewhere else. And if we didn't answer your question, it's not because we don't like you. It's because we've run out of time today.
Yeah. Let us know about the hats. You seem to be interested in the hats.
Yeah, if you want the hats, let us know. We'll figure that out.
Yeah.
One of the other things that we want you to do is go check out shotscience.com. And check out all the stuff we have going on there.
Yeah.
We have shirts and stuff. The Naismith shirts are there. Naismith is my homeboy. If you know who James Naismith is, that's something that's cool. This is a great gift for your coaches. They will love it.
Oh, the coaches will love it.
Any Shot Science official shirts are there. All of our training gear is there. And please go check out the All Access membership. And like I said, we are giving away a free month to you guys. So if you want to check that out, it is the free month is the promo code. Put it in the checkout. Is 1 free month ! All uppercase, all one word. 1 free month ! And that will really be awesome if you guys do that. So it's a free month of that. Make sure that you guys tell us where you guys are from. We love to know that. That's our question of the day all the time. So where are you guys from? Make sure you go tell your friends and family to check us out. What is today's other question of the day we can ask? Our other question of the day is, what are you going to do to help you get an open shot now? Are you going to use some tactic that we talked about today? Let us know what. Okay. Thank you guys so much. Make sure you follow us on all our social media stuff. We are Shot Science everywhere, and we do different stuff in different places, and we really appreciate if you guys go check all that stuff out. We'll check you out next time.
Thanks for being with us today. That was very cool. Enjoyed that.
Check out shotscience.com.